Man, I'll tell you what, some people, and this is true, will do anything for clout and fame. And it's crazy. But let's go ahead and talk about that. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of the Hulu original movie, Not Okay. This film is directed by Quinn Shephard. So, Not Okay is about a character named Danny who's played by Zoey Deutch. She's an individual that works for an internet newspaper outlet. She is, it's kind of like People Magazine in a lot of respects. And she basically is trying to find herself, moving up in the world, gaining clout and stuff like that. So, she decides she's going to invent a trip to Paris where she's going to go. She's part of this retreat. It's going to help her get her clout through Instagram and stuff like that. But in the process of everything, there is a massive terrorist attack that happens in Paris. She decides that she's going to use that to her advantage and act like she's a survivor of the Paris attacks. And in the process, she meets this group of individuals who are basically discussing and trying to work through their really traumatic events. Like someone's involved in a school shooting, played by Mia Isaac, who plays Rowan, and some other individuals who were like in war or who were involved with some really major incidences. And in the process, she uses that to her advantage, writes a story, and then the hashtag that Rowan, Mia Isaac's character, comes up with, I'm Not Okay, becomes a massive global phenomenon, and she becomes super famous, the Danny character. But because she's been lying, because of the incidences and how she started a little lie that became something big, thank dear Evan Hansen, it starts to kind of go out of control, and things she's trying to cover up may not exactly work. So the story is be careful what you do and what you say, because it will blow up in your face eventually. So this movie, Not Okay. A couple of reviewers have seen this movie already and said it was a pretty good, a decent story with some great acting in it. So I decided to ask to see this movie early because I've heard some good things, and I was intrigued. I never really heard about this movie before. I do like Zoey Deutch. Meet Isaac was pretty good, and Don't Make Me Go, which was the Amazon original movie, and I felt that this movie could be interesting commentary on just being careful what you do. But as I was watching the movie, I started noticing that it felt like Dear Evan Hansen, so I was a little worried about what this movie's eventual ideas and ideologies would be. But like I said, this is premiering on Hulu. It's something I was intrigued by. So, what did I think overall? Was this a movie that was worth watching? Well, I am proud to say that even though this movie does breach and broach Dear Evan Hansen territory, this movie in its nutshell and its motivation and its storytelling is much more deep and much more what I would call willing to go to places to represent its ideas and concepts, and therefore I really did enjoy this movie. It does go to lengths with the Dylan O'Brien character, which I really didn't like very much, but the idea of an individual like Danny's character and how they are willing to do unscrupulous things to go to, become internet famous or, Instagram famous. Look at like the Gentleman and stuff like that. It gets to a point where people will do things that they will be looked upon as very disgraceful and stuff like that. And that's exactly what happened in this movie, where she thinks that she's trying to do something that will help her. But once she sees this help group, this group dealing with terrorist attacks or really traumatic events, and she's finally introduced to Rowan, it starts to really see that the internet famous, the Instagram famous, the YouTube famous may be a thing where you may want to rethink your life before you really do something stupid. And unfortunately, she gets herself to a point where that doesn't happen. And I found that really powerful. I think the movie suffers a little bit from being a little too melodramatic in a lot of points, but I think Zoey Deutch really represents, with the help of the director, to really represent, people in this culture. They're willing to do whatever it takes. You look at like some of the most famous YouTubers or Instagrammers, they do some things sometimes that just doesn't make any sense, and that is a perfect representation here. It's just taken to a level of extreme that is very uncomfortable, which is what they're trying to go for. And you see that in just how this culture starts to react to the I am not okay movement and stuff like that, and how Zoey Deutch's Danny character represents herself with Rowan. How sickening and disturbing her character is, and how the difficulties of what Rowan's having to do with the school shooting and stuff like that, and how traumatic it is, and how the PTSD is set setting in and so on and so forth. And, you know, watching the people that are around the Donnie character, and, you know, for instance, there's a character named Harper who is a very ambitious reporter, but is a more traditional, like, on the level reporter, starts to uncover some things that might be unscrupulous about her story and about the website. It's just a very interesting story to represent. It really does show that, you know, some people are willing to go do whatever it takes. But the thing about this movie that really sets us apart is Mia Isaac's Rowan character. Mia Isaac is absolutely fantastic in this movie. She's riveting to watch. It's very difficult with what she's having to display on screen, and the fact that you watch this character start to slowly kind of peel away her, you know, the way she is and the way who she is, and the fact that she is an individual dealing with so much traumatic events, with her sister dying in that school shooting, with her being involved with that and stuff like that, to watch her just kind of emotionally try to deal with, like, going on stage to talk to people, or when you get to the end of this movie and she gets on stage because she's part of this drama school that she's doing, and she goes up there and she does this very impactful, very heartfelt, very just in your face kind of monologue, and just watching that play out and just watching her deal with so many raw emotions, it really is a fantastic character piece just for her alone. And she comes in late in the film, but she really has an impact with how good this movie is when it comes to what it's trying to present, what it's trying to do, how it's trying to, you know, mold itself around. It's definitely trying to tell you something, and I think for the most part it's very successful. Like I said earlier, the stuff with Dylan O'Brien's character, I understand what they're going for. They're going for like a Logan Paul-esque type character with his persona, you know, and how he acts towards people and stuff like that. But it just, I felt that was just kind of shoehorned in. I think Dylan O'Brien's a decent actor, but I think he just gets parts that really don't represent how much of a decent actor he can be. And I felt like he was wasted here in a lot of stuff. And there's moments in this movie, like I said, when it deals with like how gullible people can be, that it goes a little too far in that material. But like, once again, the stuff that Zoey Deutch's character does in this movie and how it presents itself, you know, to the world and how people, you know, react and believe it, it kind of is realistic in a lot of ways. So this is a movie that's not perfect in any way. It definitely has some flaws, but I think the performances between Zoey Deutch and Mia Isaac is really wonderful and like very heartfelt and very potent in a lot of respects. So I definitely recommend it for that. Just going knowing it's a little flawed. So overall, really enjoyed the movie. Definitely recommend. It is very difficult to watch in some aspects, but I think if you get behind the performances of the movie, I think you'll really enjoy it. So, but with that said, that is my take on Not Okay. Once again, premiere on Hulu. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below. Are you interested in seeing this movie? What do you think overall? If you do see this movie, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much. If you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.